London had always been on my bucket list. The city of history, culture, and fog-drenched streets where every corner seemed to hold a story. I had imagined myself walking along the Thames River, staring up at Big Ben, getting lost in the sprawling maze of Covent Garden. But I never imagined that London would try to keep me. It all began on a cold November evening when I checked into a small but elegant Victorian-era hotel in Kensington. The place was everything I had hoped for: classic architecture, a grand chandelier in the lobby, and a cozy fireplace burning in the lounge. Yet, the moment I stepped inside, something felt off. The receptionist, a pale woman with piercing blue eyes, barely spoke as she handed me my key. Her gaze lingered on me for a second too long, and when she finally spoke, her voice was almost a whisper. "Room 307. Mind the corridors at night." I frowned. "Why?" She hesitated. "London is old. Some things prefer to stay hidden." I chuckled, thinking it was just a bit of local superstition. But as I climbed the winding staircase, a chill crawled down my spine. The hallway stretched impossibly long, the gaslit sconces flickering as if something unseen had passed through. And as I reached my room, I noticed something strange. The door had scratches, deep, claw-like marks, as if someone had tried to escape. I should have turned around right then. But curiosity, as always, led me forward. The room itself was magnificent. A grand four-poster bed, antique furniture, and a large window overlooking the foggy streets of London. It was perfect. Or so I thought. That night, as I lay in bed, something woke me. A sound. A slow, rhythmic tapping. Tap. 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 I turned toward the window. The glass was fogged up, but in the dim light of the street lamps, I could see something written on it. My breath hitched. I hadn't written anything. Slowly, I got out of bed, stepping toward the window. The words, written in the condensation, read, "Get out." I spun around, my heart hammering. The room was empty. The door was locked. Then, a whisper. Right behind me. "You shouldn't be here." I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt something watching me. The air felt heavier, and the room, once warm, had turned ice cold. By morning, I was ready to leave. But when I went downstairs to the reception desk, the woman from last night was gone. In her place stood an older man, his wrinkled face creased with something between concern and fear. "I need to check out," I said, placing my key on the counter. The man frowned. "Room number 307. His expression darkened. "That's not possible," he said slowly. "We don't have a room 307. I laughed nervously. "What do you mean?" "I stayed there last night." His face paled. "Sir, room 307 was sealed off years ago. No one has stayed there since." He hesitated. "Since the man before you disappeared." My blood ran cold. I had been sleeping in a room that didn't exist. I rushed back upstairs, my mind racing. But when I reached the third floor, something was different. The hallway was shorter. Room 307 was gone. Where my door had been the night before, there was only a brick wall. I reached out, pressing my hand against it, solid, real. As if the room had never been there. But I knew what I had seen. What I had heard. Panicked, I ran back to the reception. "Who disappeared?" I demanded. The old man hesitated, then sighed, as if battling whether or not to tell me. Finally, he pulled out an old newspaper clipping from beneath the counter and handed it to me. The headline made my stomach drop. "Tourist vanishes in London hotel, last seen in room 307. And then I saw the photo. It was me. My own face stared back at me from the faded ink of the newspaper. Same eyes. Same features. But the date on the article? It was from 1932. I staggered back, my breath ragged. This couldn't be real. It wasn't possible. Had I been here before? Was I trapped in some kind of loop? A forgotten soul wandering London's endless history? I ran out of the hotel, shoving past pedestrians, gasping for air. The city felt different. The streets were too quiet. The sky was too gray. The people, they didn't look at me. As if I wasn't even there. Then, I saw him. A man standing at the corner, staring directly at me. Wearing my exact clothes. His face was identical to mine. He lifted his hand and slowly waved, a perfect mirror of my own movement. Then, just as a bus passed between us, he vanished. I stumbled backward, heart hammering. The newspaper article crumpled in my fist. I wasn't just visiting London. I had been here before. And somehow, I never left.